Hey guys, what's up? Drastic right here back again with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a game I played online, and this game I actually didn't play on Lichess, I played on chess.com. It was quite a while ago, but in this game I played a Chekhover Sicilian, and actually I'm going to turn my volume down a little bit, sorry about that, because I had it really high. So I played a Chekhover Sicilian as I just said. This is a Chekhover Sicilian. I have a video on it if you want to check that out. Go to my channel, go to Opening Theory. I think it's the first one. And so here he played the main line, which is knight c6. This has been played over 2,500 times. This is pretty common. And this is what you see most of the time when playing the checkover. And so I played the main line. So here he can't take the queen because the bishop is pinning it. So he unpins. And now if I develop a piece, a funny blunder would be like to just play here, because then he can just take my queen. So I have to take here, or else I have to move my queen, and I don't really want to move my queen. Here he took, and I played knight c3, which is the main line. He played knight f6, continuing the main line. I played bishop g5, and so the main move here is e6, and another move is queen b6, which kind of just admits that black is worse, because I can just take and double his pawns, and then I can double his pawns again. H6 is also a pretty bad move that lots of beginners play, because I can just take here and double your pawns. So the main move actually is just e6, just not allowing double pawns. And here you'd probably castle, which is the main move, or you'd play the grandmaster move like I showed you guys in the video, which is queen d3 and then knight here. But he played e5 instead of e6. So after bishop g5 he played e5, and e5 just gives up control of d4. And you don't really have any compensation. You don't have any of these pawns rolling like you do in the Najdorf, so you don't really have a lot of compensation. Oh, sorry. So here I played queen d3. Queen d3 defends my pawn, keeps control over the square, and just generally the most active square for the queen. Queen d2 really is not a good move, because my queen's just controlling this diagonal too on d3 and defending this pawn. So he played bishop e7, just unpinning. Maybe I was going to put some pressure along this pin, and also he has to castle, and rook c8 doesn't help him castle. So here I castled, and he played queen c7. So here he's already, as you can see by the bar here, he's already pretty much worse because of that e5 move. We kind of both just played natural moves other than his e5. And I just developed all my pieces, castled, got my pieces pretty much all in optimal squares. Like, this is optimal, optimal, not optimal because he'll be here, but develop, 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 that's 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3. And here he played queen c7. So, immediately, actually, I think I might be just threatening to take here. I actually don't know the purpose of queen c7. Is there anything wrong with castles? Oh yeah, because then he opens up the g file. Okay, okay. So there is something wrong. So if he castles, then I'll take, and if he takes with a pawn, then I take here. So he'll have to take here, and I can just hop my knight into f5. He'll be a lot worse there. And my other knight will go to d5. So can't castle. So he played queen c7. And here, again, I just took. If he takes with the bishop, well, then he's losing the pawn. Even though the engine says that, he should do that, there's really... It's not like a human move to make. And did I mention this guy was rated around 1900 on chess.com, and I was on chess.com, I'm rated around 1825 at the moment. So I don't know what time I was rated at, on what I was rated at this time. So I played knight h4. So while this does delay the development of this guy, he probably wants to go to d file anyways, and the d file's taken already, so I thought I could just spare this and go to f5. And my idea of going to f5 is to make this bishop horrible, because this bishop won't be able to go here, 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 or here. And this will also attack his backwards pawn. So here he castled. Maybe he wants to push the pawn. And I said, hey, you want to push your pawn? I'm not going to let you push your pawn. And I played knight d5. And so here I'm just threatening to put a knight on f5 and double attack this guy. So he takes, and obviously if I take with here, my advantage kind of diminishes because he no longer has a backwards pawn. So I took here, and so here his pawn is hanging, so he can defend with a rook, or he can defend with the move he played, which is bishop f8, which I think looks like the most natural move. And here I played knight f5. So up to this point, he's kind of played pretty natural moves, and I've also just played natural moves, like getting my knight into f5, getting my queen into d5. He has two holes in his position. Both of them are being used, and a backwards pawn, two of them. This one is being pressured, this one isn't. So here, my queen is still attacking this, and there's not really much to do. He could play here, but I guess he didn't want to go into the line of fire. So he played king b8. I mean, it's a sensible move. Maybe this won't come with check anymore. And here I played rook d3. My idea was just to play rook c3 or to triple up on the d file like I said I wanted to do earlier. And the idea of this is that now I can put the other guy here. And also I think actually if I play this, am I just winning a pawn? Maybe. But I'll get a lot of pressure on his position. No, I don't win a pawn actually because he just puts his queen on d7. So here he played queen c6, which just gives up the pawn. But the engine doesn't even think I should take the pawn. I doubt the engine really likes my move. I don't think my move is spectacular. I think I can just take the pawn. I think this is fine. And then after he takes on e4, take on f6, pressuring both guys. I think this is fine, but instead I opted for a little bit of a safer one. I thought maybe he has some pressure on my knight. I didn't see that f6 protects my knight. So I took here. And obviously he has to take with the b pawn. I double. Can't play d5 because I got too much attackers on it. And so here he played king c7, just defending his pawn. And so I looked at this position for, this was a 10-minute game, and I looked at this position for like 2 minutes, so like 1/5 of my time I spent here. And I ended up playing c4, which the engine thinks is the best move, and also it just clamps down on the d5 square. You're not playing d5 anytime soon. I have no weaknesses on either side of the board. You have a horrible double pawn and a horrible backwards pawn. White is significantly better, because not only does black have this horrible weakness here, he also has a horrible weakness here. And if you know, a common rule of chess is that it's really hard to win when your opponent only has one disadvantage, or one weakness. It's a lot easier to win if your opponent has two. Like, you can almost never win with one weakness because they can just over defend that weakness. But with two, they can't defend both. So here he played rook g8, trying to get counterplay. I honestly think the engine likes rook g8, but I think rook g8 is just a waste of time. I think a5 is, my opinion, the best move, looking to go bishop h6, check, get active bishop, and then plop the bishop here. Or the bishop is just good here anyways, so I think that this was probably a better idea than the one he did, but the engine likes the one he played, so I guess I can't argue with that. Here I played g3 and c5, and the reason why I like that idea more is because now you can't really do that idea because your rook's no longer guarding the bishop. So your bishop is now just horrible. Yeah, c5 was pretty clearly a mistake. Probably he should just try to push the a-pawn as far as possible, and then maybe some sort of maneuvering. But I don't know, I think I'd just go back and go for this. It's kind of hard. And your position is a lot worse. Oops, sorry. So here he played c5, which gives up control of this square and this square. So I have two squares and you have two weaknesses. So, oops. And I also have this square, unless he plays a6. But I'm going to get this square shortly. But he has this square, and yeah, that's all he has. But he can't actually get any pieces. The max he could do was do this. But then if he ever moves a rook, then I take here. So here I played f3. The idea of, I don't know why the engine thinks f3 is a really good move. I don't think f3 is actually that good. I just played it to not allow rook g3 or g4 because then I would have to defend him, then play f3. I just didn't want to allow that, and I also just wanted to solidify this guy. And so he doesn't even have threats of pushing the pawn here because I just take with my knight because my knight is so good on f5. It's attacking here, here, preventing the bishop from going here at the moment. It can come back to e3 and go to both of these squares. Like, it's just a monster knight. So here he played h5. Maybe he's going to go rook h8 and sacrifice the exchange on h4. Or he's going to go for the plan of rook, rook g6 and bishop h6 as he tried to do in the game. So here I have unlimited time, basically. So I just went on a mad king maneuver. So I play king c2. a5, king c3, king c6. There's really nothing he can do. The most counterplay he can do is just to push this pawn here. And so here I was like, okay, what's my king doing on e6? He can go here, but I don't see any other prospects. Like maybe his rook, I can go my rook here. Yeah, actually maybe I should have gone king b3, king here. Yeah, the engine likes it too. Yeah, probably that's good. Yeah, I didn't see that in the game. I was like, I had so much time, I didn't even know what to do with it all. So he played rook g6, king e2. It's saying here I should play b3, but that doesn't make any sense, just giving myself a weakness. Yeah, I just wanted to keep my pawns flexible, so I just marched my king over the queen side, and there's really nothing he can do. He didn't even go for this idea. Like, I wonder why. Does it fail? Oh yeah, because that gets rid of a defender. Yeah, so I just marched my king over to the king side, and then I played rook a3. And then we had a little repetition of... Oops. We had a little repetition of moves. I played my rook back. He played his rook back. And now here I played rook b3. And so the idea of rook b3 is that maybe I want to go to b5. And I just did that because there's a chance that he played king here. If I played here, and that would have been really nice because then I could play this move with check. And he'd just have to go back and I'd be up a tempo. So I gave him a chance to make a mistake. And so here he played king c6. I don't know what he's supposed to do. And I played rook b5, which just allowed him a5. I don't know why I did this. But I guess I was thinking that if a5, then I play here. And he'd lose a pawn, but I didn't realize that maybe he'd get some counterplay. And it's still completely winning, but, you know, I allowed him counterplay. Here he played here. And I played a4. And so let's look at the position. So I have 1, 2, 3 squares. 3 squares. All in his territory. He has 1, 2. Neither of them can be used by his pieces. And all 3 of mine are being used by a piece after I put my rook here. That's kind of ridiculous. He's a doubled pawn. His position is so positionally bad. It's +4. Equal material, +4. And so here, actually, he just blundered the game away because it's so hard to play black here. Like, white's just going to put all his pieces on the optimal squares, and you literally cannot do anything with black. I can do rook d3, rook here, check here, and then exchange this rook, because this is his literal only good piece in the position. All his other pieces are horrible. This bishop is horrible. This rook is horrible. This is the best piece. I just want to exchange that piece off. And when I get a rook to f7, I can even take here. And so here, he did not play king c7. He blundered the game away with bishop h6, and I'll give you a few seconds to find the move I played here. It's not a very hard move to find. It's just a simple one-move tactic. And so here, it's +10 here. It's literally equal material. I mean, not after this move. I'm going to be up 3 pawns. And it's almost, I'm up 3 pawns, but it's +10. That's how bad his position is. So here I took, he played king c7, and I took on f6, and he resigned in this position because there's really nothing to do. So I'm threatening to take here, I'm threatening to take here. So the engine recommends going back to f8 and then letting me take on f7. So here you're down 3 pawns, my king is active, and my rook is extremely active, both of them. And so this is just a resignable position, and I completely agree with him for resigning this position. So I guess we should take a quick look at the game to see what he really did wrong. So the first wrong move I would say is e5. This was quite a bad move, just allowing me control of d5 and f5. And your bishop's not even guarding f5. It's kind of misplaced on c3, on c6, because it's also blocking the c file. So queen d3, and takes. And here, queen c7 might have been some sort of mistake. The 2 moves played in these positions were knight g4, threatening to take here, and queen a5. I think probably both of those are pretty good. The engine personally says that knight g4 and I have a slight advantage, and that queen a5 is a pretty okay move. But here he played queen c7, and so this is not a great move either, and I took, And here he should take with the bishop and just go down a pawn with the bishop pair. I mean, it's not compensation, but it's better than what happened in the game. So what would happen is probably something like this, I'm guessing. Rook d1 and here in check. Yeah, this still looks horrible. So he took with the g pawn, and all his moves were pretty natural up to this point. Queen c6 was definitely another mistake, just allowing me to simplify. He should have kept queens on so he can get some attacking chances. And also maybe I think he should have castled kingside because he has the open b file. And yes, I do have the open g file, but it's not really open because I can't really push my g pawn without undoubling his guys, and that's gonna take 2 turns, and then I'll have to do this while the b file is open like permanently. So maybe he should castle queenside, and also his bishop can probably go to g7. But maybe the knight on f5 was too scary. Rook g8. Yeah, I don't like this rook g8 move at all. I think a5 here. And then, oh yeah, you can't play bishop h6 because the pawn's hanging. But yeah, after this is just so positionally bad. I just played a pretty good game. King h4 was a bad move apparently by me. And yeah, after this is kind of pretty much all done. The game's pretty much over. So that's the engine analysis if you want to see it. So that's the end of today's video, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. And bye!